The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy, close quote. Did I read that correctly? Did you say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is the relevance of that to this
Big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
Your feelings about President Biden or President Trump?
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me like you have your favorite feeling is anger. Are you kidding me?
I believe that you should take
You
the First
heard of
Amendment
curb your
seriously, sir.
enthusiasm? Here's my saying, curb my nausea.
Imagine being a law professor testifying before Congress and saying the Constitution is now a homicide pact because the Supreme Court affirmed the Second Amendment. No, I'm not kidding. This isn't The Onion. This is real. Professor Mary Ann Franks went full activist in a Senate hearing, and Senator John Kennedy, he destroyed her with one of the most savage, calm takedowns I've seen. Let's talk about it.
Professor Franks, let me ask you, I listened to your and Ms. Hemingway's testimony and Professor Turley, so I got part of it. As I understand it, your position, Professor Franks, is that, I think you used the word myth. It is a myth that the Biden administration used government to compel speech, private speech, but that the Trump administration is doing that. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
What? Oh, okay. So when Biden's team was cozying up to big tech to suppress stories, that's just public service, huh? But Trump tweeting something dumb, that's state-compelled speech? Unreal. The bias is practically leaking out of her pores.
Do you think perhaps you're allowing your personal political beliefs to affect your objectivity here?
No, I do not. What is guiding my answers here is that I'm looking to see what the Supreme Court has said. You notice that in the testimony about the censorship industrial complex.
I got that part.
No,
I
just
got
want
that
to
part.
clarify.
No, but I've only got 5 minutes. Your answer is no, as I appreciate it. Let me ask you a couple questions. You wrote a law review article in December of 2023 for the New York University Law Review, and it was about the two cases, Bruin, Supreme Court case, and Dobbs. Remember that article?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In this article, you said, I'm going to quote your words, taken together, these two cases demonstrate that the Supreme Court has embraced the use of the Constitution as a tool of racial patriarchy, end quote. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went on to say, quote, when the Supreme Court declares that there is a constitutional right to armed self-defense in public, it openly embraces and promotes a culture that privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill those that they perceive as threats, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Thank you for reading.
Okay. And did you also say in that article, I'm going to quote again, quote, by simultaneously expanding white men's right to kill and constricting women's right not to die, this Supreme Court, referring to the current United States Supreme Court, has turned the Constitution into a homicide pact as well, close quote. Did you write that?
That sounds like me.
Okay.
Then Kennedy pulls out the receipts. Her own words, law review articles, tweets, wild statements that make your eyes roll out of your skull. She literally said the Constitution is being used for racial patriarchy. She said self-defense laws allow white men to terrorize others. And wait for it, she called the Constitution a homicide pact. A homicide pact, people, because of gun rights and restrictions on abortion. That's not legal reasoning. That's pure political rage dressed up in academic buzzwords.
In November of 2024, you tweet, don't you?
I'm not sure what the current terminology is for it, but yes, I am sometimes on the social platform that was formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, you're on a lot, aren't you?
I'm not sure what the relevance of that is.
You're trying to be provocative on there, don't you?
Again, I'm not sure what the relevance
Well,
of this question
let me
is.
show you the relevance. On November 7th, 2024, from your tweet, here's one of your tweets at 2:41 p.m. Quote, "The majority of Americans hate women. The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy." Close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this
Did you
hearing.
say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is
you
the
said it.
relevance of
Here
that
it
to
is,
this
big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me
doctrine.
like your favorite feeling is anger.
Like, what? How do you go from legal scholar to Tumblr-level ranting feminist overlord in one sentence? She claims it's not relevant to the hearing. Are you serious? You're testifying on constitutional law and free speech while pumping out this kind of ideologically radioactive content? And you expect to be taken seriously? You are the bias. You're not fighting it. You've become the mascot of it.
Let me ask you this. You issued another tweet. This was in May of 2022. You've just been tweeting up a storm. You said, quote, "There's a reason why the conservative-dominated Supreme Court thinks the Constitution does not contain a right to an abortion, but is convinced that it contains an individual right to possess firearms. And that reason is white male supremacy." Close quote. Did I read that correctly?
Is there a question in this?
Did I read that correctly? That's
Is there
my
a question that is relevant to this hearing?
Did I read that correctly? Do you really think that the United States Supreme Court, you're an officer of the court, is guided by white male supremacy?
I believe that the First Amendment prohibits the president
Did you
other
say
state
that?
officials for punishing people for
Did
their
you honestly say that, Professor?
I
And you
believe
expect us,
that the First
as a
Amendment
Democratic witness, to take you seriously?
That line should be etched in marble. He's not yelling. He's not frothing at the mouth. He just calmly shreds her whole credibility, piece by piece. And honestly, she has no comeback. Just smugness and a weird, almost sarcastic tone, like we're the crazy ones.
Are you kidding me?
I believe that you should take
You
the First
heard of
Amendment
curb your
seriously, sir.
enthusiasm? Here's my saying, curb my nausea.
Boom. Done. Senator Kennedy just mic dropped her entire academic career. Look, if you're gonna testify before Congress as an expert, act like an expert. Not a Twitter-addicted ideologue pushing a rage-fueled narrative that America is just one giant oppression machine. Professor Franks clearly let her politics rot her objectivity. And Kennedy, he saw right through it. He didn't shout her down. He just used her own words to reveal the truth. And let me tell you, when someone shows you who they are with their own tweets and articles, believe them.